Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lord Phantom Reads, where we read the most dumbest creepypastas possible and very a good one sometimes. Like before Ben's Round Post 1, I'll be reading two paragraphs of the story and giving my thoughts so far. And by the way, the game we are playing is Creature from the Krusty Krab. We'll eventually let's play it, don't worry. Yeah, and probably shall slow down in the near future. So, okay, let's start it. But before we start, I don't know anything about Cow and Chicken except Cartoon Fridays, and that it was one of the original cartoons. That's about it. You could give me slack if you want, but if you don't want to, that's understandable. I'm not gonna whine like a brat, okay? And yeah, I just done filming 10 subscriber special. My alternate self and I are working on it. Okay, let's start this story. At around 8 p.m. on August 18th, 1999. Hey, that's 1 year after I was born. A very disturbing episode, which was originally meant to be the series finale of of the show Cow and Chicken, aired on Cartoon Network. My cousin saw this episode. Hold on. She had been to therapy shortly before the first day of school and was diagnosed with paranoia. It is unknown how this episode got onto the air, but it has been presumed that the person who was supposed to review episodes of cartoons before they aired have gotten drunk and passed it on to air without thinking much of it. Parents of the kids who have viewed the episodes complained about the episode's graphic content and demanded answers about the episode. Others threatened to sue Cartoon Network, although no lawsuits were ever filed against them. Now, how in the hell did I find this episode? Well, I'll tell you. It all started a few years ago when I visited my cousin. You see, my cousin had a habit of recording cartoon shows from TV, along with most of the tapes being from Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, and converting them to VHS tapes of certain shows. Some of the tapes have been kept in fairly good condition. Others didn't survive so well, and those that didn't consisted of mostly static. Well, my cousin went out for a swim with some of her friends. I decided to look at her VHS tapes. While digging through the pile, I came across a tape, the Kodak brand, with writing saying Cow and Chicken, Season 4, Episode 53. Do not release to the public. However, curiosity killed the cat as I decided to watch the tape. However, it hadn't survived that long, consistently mostly a stack. The only footage that I could make out was a 5 second shot for commercial for America Online and a shot of cow and chicken in hell. After doing some research, I noticed something very strange. There was no episode 53 of season 4. When my cousin came back, I asked her about the episode, and all color drained from her face. She refused to give me an explanation as to what it was about and told me to never search for it anywhere. I listened to her, being the kid I am, and ended up forgetting about it. However, when I returned home, I ended up remembering the episode and being highly curious. I decided to go online for answers. Okay, so it seems like this kid isn't that stupid. He says, okay, I'm gonna listen. But then, being curious, because he's a kid, he's just a kid, he doesn't know any better. It's like, it seems like it's gonna be a good story. Hopefully. And the reason why I can't play a Cartoon Network game is either I I don't have any Cartoon Network games, or B, the only copy I have is, well, broken. Have these people ever thought of, doing creepypastas about Cartoon Network games or licensed games besides NES Godzilla? Because that's a pretty good game. That's a pretty good story. I would read it, but it's too ridiculously long and other people have done it before me. Anyway, this kid goes home and says, hey, I'm gonna research it, even though his cousin told him not to. I don't know what was in that episode that screwed her up. There had to be there has to be a logical explanation. And there kinda is a logical explanation. But that's later in the story, so let's move on with this. Unfortunately, there was nothing on the regular internet about this episode, so I was left with no other choice than to go on the deep web. There are some people surprisingly knew about this episode. I found a particular forum from 2005 that discussed about this episode. A person by the name of Stan Stibblestein had posted a link to a site with a download link to the episodes. His profile was himself. He had brown hair and a beard. His head was oval shaped. I clicked the link he posted. I wouldn't release it because it's only accessible by a deep web, and some stupid person would likely try and find the episode. The site was completely black except for a line of red text in Comic Sans font saying "Click Me." I clicked it and the file started downloading. When it was finished, I checked the file. It was an AVI file. The file's name was 0001123FFJKCV999.avi. I opened the file and full screen the video. At first, there was a minute of pure static. Then, a test card banner appeared on screen where a sine wave was the only thing that could be heard. The color bars only lasted for about 30 seconds. Suddenly, it all cut to black. I was beginning to wonder when the video was going to come on when the intro appeared out of nowhere while piercing. Mama have a cow. Wait a minute. Mama have a chicken. Mama had a cow. I literally almost got a seizure from that. That was how bad it was. Despite that, the intro was surprisingly over. However, at the end, while the red guy makes his laugh, he suddenly had what looked like a seizure, fell to the ground. The title card read the last episode. It was just red text scrolled on a plain white background. It began with the view of the house cow and chicken lived in. There was no sound. Then it cut to the inside of the house. Cow and chicken were seen hiding in their rooms for some reason. Okay, so far we have this narrator saying don't go to this site. Even though somebody's probably gonna do it. I just don't know why. Anyway, the episode, what the narrator described was the beginning of the episode, and how can okay, people have had seizures before. I'm pretty sure that would have been banned regardless. Now it has dialogue, which makes sense. It's a lost episode. So I think we're gonna read it. I'm scared, chicken. Me too. We're lucky we didn't turn into whatever those disturbing monsters are called yet. But mom and dad have, though. It was traumatizing to see our parents turn into zombies thanks to that virus before they were killed. Cow and chicken leave the room and at this point, only to hear a loud quack. They went downstairs only to realize that a group of zombies had broken into their house. Crap, let's get out of here. Cow and Chicken ran away from their house into some sort of forest at this point. That was close, but we don't have much chance of living any longer. We'll either get eaten by the zombies or get infected by that virus that's turning people into zombies. Okay, at this point, the creepypasta's fake. Almost all of them are. The Black Friday incident wasn't, because it really happened. But this episode, no, it did not happen. I'm pretty sure. Well, Cartoon Network is actually a little bit more lenient on characters swearing in their shows, but it's only allowed during the first and final episodes if the show is mature enough. Minor swears, not major swears like the F bomb. You know, you gotta keep it kid friendly. So basically, Cow and Chicken are doomed because of a zombie virus. Yes, which is typical for some horror aspects, but not all horror aspects. You know, because it's the a zombie pandemic won't really happen. The closest thing to that actually happening, though, is rabies. And that's not really a zombie virus. Okay, let's do two more paragraphs and I'll give you my thoughts. So far, anyway. The screen faded to black. Commercials come on and they weren't all the ordinary. However, during commercials, something kept flashing on the screen over and over again, but I couldn't make it out what it was. I actually thought there was something wrong with the file. However, the QuickTime player slider was moving along normally. When it came back from commercials, it showed Cow and Chicken in what looked like an attic. There was dead silence. Cow and Chicken just sat still. This lasted for about 3 minutes. They eventually go outside again, only to see that everything around them looks abandoned. Chicken found what looked like a newspaper. Chicken read it. Zombie apocalypse has come. A virus found in a small village in India has spread throughout Asia and Europe and has recently spread into North and South America at an alarming rate. Okay, So basically, a zombie virus that came from India. Well, the creators weren't actually far off. It would come from China. Oh wait, that's not a zombie virus though. That's the coronavirus. Seriously, what were these people thinking when they were writing it? They're racist. Wait a minute. I think I'm over exaggerating here. Yeah, I'm over exaggerating. It's just a story, so we have nothing to worry about. Of all the places they could choose is India though. You mean you mean that you mean the subcontinent? That's also a country? Well, we could go forward, but I'm still gonna go forward. Chicken stopped reading at this point. Cow yelled, "Run!" Chicken looked to his left and saw a herd of zombies charging towards them. Cow and Chicken run back into the house only for them to find two guns and a bunch of ammo. They start shooting at the zombies, killing them all. However, a much larger herd of zombies charges at them. Unfortunately, Cow and Chicken ran out of ammo and were forced to flee back into the house. However, the zombies into Cow and Chicken's home and found them hiding in the bedroom. Cow and Chicken were brutally killed, however, their deaths were cut out, and what was replaced was live action footage of a piece of cheese being shredded. The most disturbing thing was about this scene was the audio. The audio was of the screams of Cow and Chicken and the noises of zombies. As the cheese became smaller, the screams of Cow and Chicken became more pained and realistic, as if the actors were in agony. I think that the cheese getting smaller was, as it was said, was represent Cow and Chicken's demise as they became smaller and smaller, seeing how they were ripped apart and eaten by the zombies. When the cheese was reduced to nothing, Cow and Chicken's screams faded away. The, the, the screen cut to black and it showed Cow and Chicken in hell with a bunch of other people. Okay, it sounds like a fan made episode. Cartoon Network would not actually release this. If they did, they would get lawsuits. And as they said in the beginning of the story, they almost did. In that alternate reality. Regardless of reality, Cartoon Network would never release this. Period and the story. And Cow and Chicken going to hell? Well, it is a little bit realistic, since Cow and Chicken have met the devil before. Or the red guy, as Cartoon Network calls it. So let's get this. The red guy can greeted them with, "Oh, hello, Cow and Chicken. I'm glad you're here. Now I'll have you suffer with all others in the fire." The red guy then shoved Cow and Chicken with his butt in a comedic way into the fire and are seen burning alive with a bunch of other souls. The episode ends with a shot of Cow and Chicken being burned in a pit of fire with a bunch of other souls. The screen then goes black. Text appeared on the screen that read, August 18, 1999, Cow and Chicken, Season 4, Episode 53. The screen went black again and another set of text appeared. It was a quote from the 1978 film Watership Down, one of my favorite animated movies. This is what it read. All the world will be your enemy, prince of 1,000 enemies. And when they catch you, they will kill you. But first they must catch you. Digger, listener, runner, prince, with the swift warning. Be cunning and full of tricks. And your people will never be destroyed. I smiled because despite the film's violence, I always enjoyed watching it. However, my smile turned upside down when a clip that will haunt me for the rest of my life was shown. It was a video of a dark figure breathing. After 5 minutes, the figure said, "Don't ever watch Cow and Chicken anymore," and thrown the camera, causing the camera to crack. A few moments later, it cut to another test cut card panel, and it was about 15 seconds before seeing the worst thing I ever seen. Cut to the room again with a corpse I assume was my grandma's with a cat nudging her. However, it wasn't just any kitten. I realized that it was my grandma's kitten, Almond. I recognized her because of the collar, and she was an orange female tubby kitten. I emailed Cartoon Network and my parents about the episode and emailed the AVI file to the company and my parents, and my mom ended up reporting it to the police. After frequent investigations, it turns out that Dan, the guy I mentioned earlier, was the one responsible for the episode. The figure who was breathing in the death of my grandma. A tape of the dark figure in my grandma was found where he lived, which was surprisingly only an hour from where I lived. He was charged with murder and was given a life in prison without the possibility of parole. Justice may have been served, but that episode will be forever stuck within my mind. Okay, for an lost episode creepypasta, the beginning was pretty good. The episode was okay. I believe the end about the writer's grandma and the dark figure should have been cut out. It was unnecessary. You didn't need to have murder in it and elder abuse. Okay? That kind of that kind of makes you look like a bad person. Anyway, this the episode about the zombie virus was okay, but there was one problem. Cartoon Network would never air anything like that. Unless it was like Star Wars or something. Not with bullets, but with lasers or something. I did that Cow and Chicken as a comedy show, I believe. That would have been a very weird finale for a comedy show. My final score for this so-called creepy pasta is a 6 out of 10. The story started off good. The narrator wasn't an idiot. The narrator's family actually acted normal. And also, imagine the next family reunion. Oh yeah, my grandma's murder was featured in a Cow and Chicken episode. And then they'll say, what? You've gone crazy, haven't you? They would think the person would be crazy. So, anyway, next time, I think we're gonna do another creepy pasta. So the next creepy pasta we're gonna be doing is Mario 2. Yeah, a sequel to a very terrible creepypasta. So yeah, so see you guys then.